Hey, what's going on, guys? It's FPL Yusuf here, and welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going over my Game Week 35 early transfer plans ahead of this weekend's deadline. To recap about how we're currently getting on in Game Week 34 with one game to go, I'm going to show you guys what my current transfer plans are, my thoughts around Game Week 35, and we'll also have a quick look at what my team is currently looking like before I've made any transfers as we go into this weekend's game week. So I do hope you guys enjoy this video. If you do, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into this. Okay, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much for being here with me today on my YouTube channel for another video. So let's just jump straight into how we're currently getting on in Game Week 34. Obviously, at the time we'll be recording this, there's still one more game later on in the week, which is Nottingham Forest against Brentford. So we still have Chris Wood and Brian Mbeumo to play in that. So I'm happy still to have two players, and this is kind of why on my free hit I wanted to keep them two in there, just so we had something later in the week in case the game week wasn't going as great as we thought it would. But actually, we've actually been off to a really good start. So we're on 76 points currently. We had a few big returns. Obviously, Mateus Cunha coming in massive with 15. Kieran Trippier as well. I mean, what a time to bring him in. 15 points, 2 assists, another fantastic return. Obviously, we got little returns from Mo Salah, from Luis Diaz. Trent did pick up an assist. Cucurella with the clean sheet. It's almost one of them game weeks that could have been a massive score. Obviously, we have Sessegnon on the bench with his 11 points. Kepa was about a minute away from getting a 10-pointer, only ended up on 3, so we lost about 7 on him. But overall, like I said, I can't really complain too much. That gives us a green arrow, so we're currently up to about 550,000 with obviously Mbeumo and Chris Wood to go. So we're moving in the right direction. Obviously, it's been a late push. We know we've only got a couple game weeks left, so we're trying to get as close to that top 100k as possible. Is it possible? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. We're going to need a couple more good game weeks like how we've had over the last few weeks. But fingers crossed, with the transfer plans this week and future weeks as well. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can do it. But yeah, like I said, overall, it's been a very good week. We're going to jump straight into what my transfer targets are looking like for game week 35, and then I will show you guys what the current team is looking like before we get to that deadline. Right, so let's take a look at what my transfers are. Now, this week for me, I think there's a possibility of a -4. If not, then it will probably just be a one transfer. So the first one up is Connor Bradley. Now, when I brought Connor Bradley in a couple of weeks ago, I knew he was only going to be there for sort of 2, max 3 game weeks. Now, he did come in clutch for the 2 games we had him. I think it was a 9 and a 6 pointer. So can't really complain too much. He did what he came in to do. He is currently yellow flagged, but obviously Trent come back now, which means I think he was more than likely going to start playing. And that was always my biggest fear around him, is that once Trent's back, is he still going to get minutes? Especially if Trent is looking like he's going to leave, then I don't think so. I think Trent will probably see out the season. So he is first up on my list to get rid of. Now, I've been looking at all different teams. No one's really got a good run of fixtures apart from Everton. Now, Everton do play 2 out of the 3 teams that have been relegated in the next 3 weeks. So for me, I'm actually leaning towards an Everton defender. Now, for me, it's between Jared Branthwaite and Mykolenko. I think just due to the small upside of attacking threat from assist play from Mykolenko, I think he's currently in the driver's seat. There's not really a lot to differentiate between them. They're not really fantastic for bonus points. They're not really great at scoring goals or making assists. Branthwaite could pop up with the odd corner here. Mykolenko, again, odd cross here and there. But overall, they're pretty similar in price. I think, like I said, Mykolenko for me is just probably edging it, just because he has that assist threat. He's a little bit cheaper, but at this stage of the season, 0.5, 0.6 million, it doesn't really make too much of a difference. So I think for me, Connor Bradley, he's been a great, player to come in as a differential for the last 2-3 weeks. But I think now's the time to go. And like I said, with sort of looking at how everyone else's fixtures is lined up, Everton over the next sort of 2-3 game weeks have got the best. I believe it's Ipswich and Leicester they've got coming up. So fingers crossed, hopefully they can get 2 clean sheets. But that is currently my first transfer that I'm looking to make. Like I said, I could be taking a -4 this week. If I do, it will be for Mateta. Now, Mateta for me, obviously Crystal Palace are through to the FA Cup final, so there's probably going to be one eye on that. Obviously, they can't really advance in the league. They're kind of mid-table where they are, so they've had an okay season. My biggest thing about Mateta is recently he's been getting pulled off like 45 minutes, before an hour, if the game isn't going too well for Crystal Palace. And for me, the run of the season, and I'm trying to obviously get as much rank as possible, I don't want a player who I can't be sure of minutes. So the two replacements that I'm looking for, one is Chris Wood. I do like Nottingham Forest's fixtures. Obviously, we've got him playing later on this week as well in the free hit team. But I am looking at bringing him back in. Obviously, he was a great servant for us throughout the course of the season that we've had him. The other player that I'm looking to bring in is Johan Wissa. Now, obviously, I do have Mbeumo in my main team. Usually, when Brentford score, it is one of them two, and I like them both as FPL assets so much. When Brentford do well, if you own both of them, there's a good chance you're going to be in the points. And for me, right now at this stage of the season, that's exactly what I'm looking for, is players who have got a high ceiling, but also players who are going to be big differentials and potentially differential captain shouts. Now, Brentford do play Man United in game week 35, which for me, on paper at home, I love it. I love that fixture. Man United aren't playing well at the moment. they are obviously going to have one eye on their semi-final as well, which, they obviously got the harder leg out of them and Tottenham, so they're playing against Athletic Bilbao, so they're going to need to be full strength to try and get through that game. So I'm just thinking, is a -4 worth it this week? And do you know what? I'd probably argue maybe it is. I do think that there's a chance that Brentford could get 2, 3, dare I say even 4. They've done it before where they've scored multiple goals against Manchester United. So just something I'm looking out for. If I do make that transfer, like I said, it will be for a minus. But right now, those are the two transfers I'm looking at. Conor Bradley, who's flagged, and also Mateta, who's becoming a little bit of a minutes risk at the moment. So this is currently what my team's looking at for game week 35. So we've got Nick Pope in goal. He has got Brighton away. It's not the greatest fixture role. It's also not the worst. At this stage, I just don't think a keeper transfer really makes sense, unless something happens to Nick Pope where maybe his starting place isn't guaranteed anymore or he gets injured. I just don't see the need to use a free transfer, because right now, like I said, we're trying to look for high upside picks. So I think he's probably just going to remain, despite, I know Newcastle haven't got great fixtures. They've got to play Chelsea. They've got to play Arsenal. I'm just hoping that both Chelsea and Arsenal are going to have eyes on other competitions where it might mean rotation there. So yeah, Nick Pope for me, he's just going to stay, I think. We've got the back three. Timber has got Bournemouth. Will be a tricky game. Obviously, Bournemouth, on their day are, can give anyone problems. There's also not a guarantee that Timber's going to start, and that's my other worry about him, which means I don't know if he's going to actually be starting in my team, but I may have to look to bring in a sub or maybe take another minus to take him out, but we'll cross that bridge later in the week once we see, how Arsenal get on and see if he comes through that. Milenkovic against Crystal Palace, I don't mind keeping him there. He's fine for now. Conor Bradley, we spoke about in the previous section. He probably will be moved out for Mikalenko, which means that will be the back three and the keeper. Onto the midfield, we've got the Arsenal double up of Trossard and Marino. I'm just going to leave them there for now. Like I said, there's other things which I need to sort out first, as in Mateta and Conor Bradley. So them two are fine. Mo Salah, again, hasn't really been doing it the last few weeks. Obviously, he got his goal on the weekend, but, hopefully, fingers crossed, he can find his form towards the end of the season. Not that it really makes a difference, as he's so highly owned anyway. And the final midfielder in this team is Brian Mbeumo, who currently has the captaincy armband on. Now, if I do make all the transfers, as I said in the previous section, I think there's actually a chance that I go for an Mbeumo or a Vissa as a differential captain. And it may be 50-50 between them. So we'll leave that as it is for now, but that will be my midfield going into game week 35. And then up front, Alexander Isak, he's going to stay there. Marmoush, Wolves at home. I don't actually think that that's an as easy game as people are making it out to be. I do think that Wolves, under this new manager, they're a lot harder to beat, and they do play good attacking football as well. And we know City haven't been the best defensively this season, so I'm one to watch, but I don't think he's going to be a consideration for captain for me this week, surprisingly. And obviously, the last player up front is Mateta against Nottingham Forest. Now, like I said, could be a -4 to take him out and bring in Johan Vissa, which I'm actually, at the time of recording this, I am leaning towards that sort of strategy. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But that is what my team is currently looking like for game week 35. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below. I will be back probably midweek, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, with an FPL challenge video, and then of course Friday with a final team selection video where I show you guys the transfers that I've made, what the team lineup's looking like. Also, we'll go over some odds and some clean sheet goal scoring opportunities as well. So lots to talk about in Friday's video, but stay tuned for that. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please don't forget to drop a thumbs up and subscribe down below, and I'll catch you guys next time.